In this video, I'm going to try and explain how you should flash around a window before you stucco or put siding on in the exterior finish. First thing you're going to need to do is start with the bottom piece, and the bottom piece will need to extend past the width of the paper or flashing you're going to be using. So for example, if you have flashing paper that is 10 inches wide and the window is 36 inches wide, then it will need to extend at least 10 inches past both sides of the bottom of the window, basically at what you're looking at here in the picture. After that, you will cut and install the side pieces, and here you can see where the side pieces, which of course go over the bottom piece. The reason why they needs to lap past 10 inches, and of course you can see on the top where it needs to go up 10 inches. Here's another view of something. As you can see, the window frame itself sits on top of these layers of flashing. And here's the top view. Again, you don't have to go, if you have 10 inches, if you have 10-inch wide paper, you can always stop it at 8 or 9 inches in the top, but I usually just go the full distance. After the window is installed, that's when you install the top flashing. And again, this is all set up so the water will drain. When it drains on the wall, it's going to be draining and lapping onto the lower piece. That's the most important part of this. And here's a sliding glass door with a window next to it and a little more complicated paper pattern, or should I say flashing pattern. I felt like throwing a couple of pictures in, like always, to help explain with the illustrations. Sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words, sometimes it's worth 1,000,000 words, so I hope they help. Now, if you're going to be installing building paper around the windows, it is going to be a good idea to have the flashing lap over the bottom section of the paper, so that the water will continue to roll off of the flashing. Everything above needs to roll off to the paper or flashing below. Even if you have metal, you're using metal Z-bar, let's say, the paper that goes above the Z-bar, the paper, the building vapor barrier, will need to sit on top of the metal so that the water that rolls on top of the paper will roll on top of the metal and off of the building, and I hope that makes sense. Next up is the side paper or vapor barrier, moisture barrier, whatever you want to call it. Some people use Tyvek, some people use building paper. The principles are still the same, and again, when you're using Tyvek, I've seen it where they just cut the windows out and install the windows right over the Tyvek and without any flashing. And I don't know, it would all depend on the code in your area or what they're going to let you get away with. But remember, looking at this right here, you can clearly see where everything that is applied in the next layer is sitting on top of the pieces beneath it, so that all moisture can roll down. And again, this video isn't on lathing a building, it's not on putting the paper on, it's just giving you an explanation of flashing around the windows. I'll try and make another video on that later. Here's a good example of a couple of windows that have been installed properly, and I also want to point out that most of the time you're going to run into the flashing, the lower paper flashing around the window. It's going to run past the paper at least the width of the flashing. This isn't what you're looking at here, isn't a common way to install the windows. Even though I can see that this is done correctly, This next picture will give you a better idea what I'm talking about. You can actually see where the side of the window flashing paper, the bottom, is actually sticking past the edge. This allows all of the water that gets behind the building paper but in front of the window flashing to roll off of the roll underneath it. Like I'm saying, if it gets behind the building paper, it can actually roll past. If it's not rolling too much to either side, it'll come down and out properly. Where if the side of the paper, let's just say that the black paper, the building paper, stopped at the edge, like we seen in the previous picture, then you could end up with a water problem. So there you have it. If you are going to flash around the window, this is what it should look like. And hopefully you have a better understanding of why it needs to be applied in this particular manner. And if you have any questions, don't forget to leave them in the comment area or email them to me. If they're left in the comment area, usually I can leave the explanation or the answer in the comment area for others to see. So that'd probably work out better for everyone. But feel free either way. And if you like the videos, don't forget to tell your friends and family about them and hit the old thumbs up button every once in a while.